Well, I just don't think we really knew until we saw those files come out, and then you go, oh well, there is absolutely no denying it now. My position on this has completely shifted, and honestly, if you are still sitting there pretending everything in Hollywood is just glitz, glamour and organic green smoothies, you need to wake up right now. 4 years, every single time Kanye West went on a late-night Twitter tirade or started screaming into a microphone about the dark circles, the hidden handlers, and the elite protection networks running the entertainment industry, the entire world laughed it off, called him crazy, said he was off his meds, and moved on. But nobody is laughing anymore, are they? Something has massive shifted in 2026, because the exact powerful architecture he was warning us about is currently cracking wide open under the weight of public record, leaked court documents, and congressional hearings. What if the man Hollywood desperately tried to destroy actually knew the terrifying truth all along? What if Kim Kardashian's multi-billion-dollar empire wasn't built on just sheer business brilliance, but on access to doors that should have never been opened? Let us start right at the absolute beginning of this madness, because to understand the sheer scale of what Kanye West is currently dropping on the internet, we have to look at how this entire multi-billion-dollar empire was constructed from the ground up. We are talking about a family that literally went from being a regular, upper-middle-class Calabasas household to dominating global fashion, beauty, and media, controlling brands like Skims, which was recently valued at a staggering $5 billion. Now, if you listen to the mainstream media narrative, it is a simple story of a genius matriarch, Kris Jenner, working 20 hours a day, closing brilliant deals, and turning a leaked home video into a launching pad for a dynasty. It sounds inspiring, it sounds clean, and it sounds like the classic American dream on absolute steroids. But anyone who understands how the upper echelons of the entertainment industry actually function knows that doors to that level of astronomical wealth, political influence, and global dominance do not just swing open because you are good at marketing lip liners. In the real world, especially the dark, deeply compromised world of top-tier Hollywood, that level of access always comes with a price tag, a gatekeeper, and a network of highly powerful people operating behind very heavy soundproof curtains. For nearly a decade, Kanye West was not just a spectator watching this family from the outside. He was completely on the inside, married to the most famous woman on earth, sitting in rooms that 99% of the population does not even know exist. We are talking about private dinners with media conglomerate owners, secret meetings with international billionaires, and closed-door gatherings with political power players who pull the strings of global culture. And what did Kanye start doing the moment he got a full, unrestricted view behind that curtain? He started absolutely panicking, acting out, and screaming at the top of his lungs that something was deeply, fundamentally wrong with the ecosystem his family was operating in. Think back to 2016 when he was abruptly hospitalized after stopping his concert midway to deliver a frantic, cryptic speech about radio corporate handlers, powerful elites, and Jay-Z's alleged killers. The immediate public relations response from the Kardashian machine was textbook precision. Kanye is having a severe bipolar episode. Kanye is completely unwell. Poor Kim is just a heroic mother trying to hold her family together while her husband spirals into madness. For years, the public totally bought that narrative hook, line, and sinker because it was comfortable, it made sense, and it allowed everyone to keep enjoying their reality television without feeling a deep sense of moral discomfort. But fast forward to right now, and suddenly that exact same paranoia is starting to look an awful lot like terrifying pattern recognition. The game completely changed when the official heavily classified files from the federal investigations began leaking out into the public domain, cracking open a hidden world that a lot of people in power desperately wished would stay buried forever. We saw the House Oversight Committee release actual, horrifying photographs and video footage from private elite properties, putting on the official congressional record that there were tens of thousands of archived recordings, financial transaction logs, and guest lists connected to these global operations. This is no longer some dark, fringe internet rumor whispered on message boards. This is a public record verified by members of Congress who are actively demanding that the Department of Justice release every single unredacted file to the public. And the moment the public started looking at the actual architecture of these elite networks, a collective light bulb went off across the entire internet, causing everyone to go back, open up old interviews, and actually listen to what Kanye West was screaming about. They started looking at the massive financial networks, the specific private equity firms funding these billion-dollar celebrity brands, and the powerful figures who magically cleared the path for this family to achieve total cultural immunity. Kanye's explosive 2025 documentary, titled In Whose Name, which meticulously covered 6 chaotic years of his life from 2018 to 2024, showed a man who genuinely, with every fiber of his being, believed he was being systematically controlled, monitored, and silenced by a corporate entertainment machine. He wasn't just complaining about bad press. He was confronting Kris Jenner directly on camera about his 2016 hospitalization, stating flat out that he would have rather face death than be put on heavy chemical medications designed to keep his mouth shut. When you see a man who was inside that specific world, who saw the literal receipts, who heard the private conversations, looking directly into a camera and calling the entire operation demonic, you have to at least have the intellectual curiosity to stop laughing and start asking the hard questions. What exactly did Kanye see in those private rooms that made him willing to burn his entire billionaire status, his corporate sneaker deals, and his global reputation to the absolute ground just to get away from it? The plot thickens to an unbelievable degree when you look at the parallel legal warfare currently exploding between Kim Kardashian, Kris Jenner, and her ex-boyfriend Ray J, which directly connects back to this exact theme of high-level cover-ups and millions of dollars paid for total silence. Just recently, Kim and Kris dragged themselves to a Los Angeles judge, practically begging the court to permanently seal specific portions of a massive 2023 settlement agreement they made with Ray J, arguing that public exposure would cause irreparable harm to their private business interests. But the judge, Stephen Ellis, looked at their high-priced attorneys and essentially said, "Prove it," ultimately ruling that their legal claims were way too vague, speculative, and completely unsupported to justify hiding the truth from the public. What this means is that the highly classified terms of that multimillion-dollar settlement are finally seeing the light of day, and it blows the 19-year-old mainstream narrative completely out of the water. For 2 decades, the public was fed a very specific, carefully curated story that Kim Kardashian was a completely innocent victim of a malicious tape leak orchestrated by greedy third-party distributors. But the unsealed court documents reveal a completely different, highly calculated reality where Ray J claims under penalty of perjury that the entire release was a meticulously organized commercial exploitation contract spearheaded by none other than Kris Jenner herself. According to these explosive legal filings, the family spent the last 20 years aggressively peddling a false victim narrative on their various reality shows, weaponizing the media to gain public sympathy while simultaneously using millions of dollars in hush money to keep the actual truth from leaking out. Ray J went completely rogue on a public live stream, confidently declaring that he was actively cooperating with federal investigators to bring a massive racketeering and organized crime case against Kim and Kris, using the exact same RICO statutes that the government uses to dismantle the mafia. He explicitly stated that what is about to drop on the Kardashian-Jenner enterprise is going to make the entire headline-grabbing federal investigation into Sean Diddy Combs look like absolute child's play. When powerful people respond to these kinds of wild, explosive allegations not by ignoring them like standard celebrity gossip, but by deploying armies of international lawyers, filing massive defamation lawsuits, and desperately trying to claw back $5 million of a secret $6 million confidentiality agreement, it tells you everything you need to know. It proves that there is an exact financial value placed on silence in Hollywood, and that value is incredibly high because the secrets behind the curtain are incredibly dangerous. Kanye West knew about these multi-million-dollar silence contracts, he knew about the manufactured media narratives, and he knew exactly which powerful global figures were funding the operation, which brings us directly to the terrifying anonymous leaks detailing the specific events where these elite worlds collided. According to highly classified, unverified industry reports circulating through independent investigative circles, Kanye has allegedly preserved a massive digital vault of private communications, flight logs, and text messages from his time within the marriage that paint a deeply disturbing picture of how the elite circles operated. These leaks suggest that during the height of their global fame, the family was allegedly frequenting highly exclusive, invite-only international gatherings where top-tier political figures, international financiers, and shady global fixers mingled under the guise of high-fashion charity galas. It is within these exact high-society cross-sections that the public is now noticing deeply unsettling overlaps in guest lists, historical photographs, and shared private security details that tie back to the very networks exposed in the federal files. Kanye has allegedly stated to close associates that the true currency of Hollywood is not paper money, nor is it fame or talent. The true currency is leverage, blackmail, and access to vulnerable people that can be used to secure massive, multi-billion-dollar corporate backing. He allegedly revealed that the sudden, inexplicable global expansion of the family's business empires was directly tied to closed-door agreements made with powerful financial entities that operated in the exact same legal shadows as the individuals named in the congressional hearings. The public is finally starting to look past the beautiful magazine covers and the highly distracting relationship dramas to ask the one question that could completely shatter the illusion of Hollywood royalty forever. This entire legal and cultural implosion is not happening in a vacuum, and as the layers of security continue to peel away, the timeline of events starts to lock perfectly into place, revealing a devastating chain reaction that leads directly into the next phase of this exposure. This entire legal and cultural implosion is not happening in a vacuum, and as the layers of security continue to peel away, the timeline of events starts to lock perfectly into place, revealing a devastating chain reaction that leads directly into the next phase of this exposure. We are now entering the deepest, darkest territory of this alleged investigative breakdown, where the public reactions, the leaked legal strategies, and the frantic damage control from the Calabasas camp are reaching an absolute fever pitch. According to independent industry insiders and anonymous legal clerks close to the California appellate courts, the panic behind the scenes at the Kardashian-Jenner headquarters is unlike anything Hollywood has witnessed since the mid-2000s. The immediate public reaction to Judge Stephen Ellis's refusal to seal the Ray J settlement documents has triggered a massive, uncontrollable wave of digital detective work across TikTok, X, and various independent media platforms. Internet sleuths are not just reading the court transcripts. They are meticulously cross-referencing every single date mentioned in Ray J's counterclaim with the timeline of Kanye West's most intense public meltdowns. For example, when Ray J alleged under penalty of perjury that a highly calculated meeting took place in late 2006 to orchestrate the commercial exploitation of the tape, the internet immediately matched that date to the exact period Kanye West first started attempting to buy his way into the highest fashion circles in Paris. Anonymous sources close to Kanye's design team alleged that during this specific window, Kanye was repeatedly blocked by international luxury conglomerates, who told him flat out that he didn't have the right cultural backing or the approval of certain high society power players who dictate who gets a seat at the table. These same anonymous leaks now suggest that Kanye was explicitly told by a prominent European fashion executive that if he wanted to be taken seriously by the billionaire elite who fund global brands, he needed to align himself with a family that possessed total, unshakable media leverage. This opens up a terrifyingly cynical interpretation of the Kanye-Kim relationship that completely upends the romantic narrative we watched for a decade on television. It suggests that Kanye was systematically steered into this alliance by mutual handlers who knew his creative genius could be used to legitimize a family that the old money elite initially viewed as nothing more than cheap reality television grifters. As the internet continues to digest these parallel timelines, the public backlash has transformed from simple celebrity gossip into a massive, organized demand for corporate accountability. Major retail forums and consumer advocacy groups are starting to ask how financial giants and private equity funds could pour billions of dollars into consumer brands like Skims and Kylie Cosmetics, while the founders were actively entangled in multi-million-dollar hush money operations. The public reaction has become so intense that brand marketing experts are predicting a massive consumer revolt, with thousands of online comments demanding that major department stores pull Kardashian-affiliated products from their shelves until the full, unredacted terms of the Ray J settlement are made public. But the family isn't just fighting a war of public perception. They are dealing with an unprecedented internal crisis caused by the alleged leakage of private communications from within their own trusted circle. Rumors are exploding through the entertainment industry that an anonymous whistleblower, a former high-level production assistant who worked on their Hulu reality series for multiple seasons, has allegedly walked away with hundreds of hours of raw, unedited audio footage from the production booths. This imaginary source has allegedly leaked transcripts to independent journalists describing a culture of absolute terror and calculated manipulation behind the scenes, where family members and network executives would routinely sit with high-priced crisis management fixers to map out exactly how to weaponize the legal system against anyone threatening to expose their elite connections. According to these sensational, unverified leaks, the raw audio captures vivid discussions about how to handle Kanye West's increasing non-compliance during the final years of the marriage, with individuals allegedly brainstorming ways to use his public behavioral patterns as legal leverage to strip him of his parental rights and establish complete control over his financial assets. The psychological warfare between these parties reached an entirely new level when an independent digital media outlet published an explosive, allegedly leaked legal memorandum from a prominent international law firm specializing in asset protection for ultra-high net worth individuals. This document, which has circulated through the darker corners of the financial internet, outlines a hypothetical worst-case scenario strategy for a high-profile entertainment empire facing a potential federal racketeering or organized crime inquiry. The memorandum suggests that the standard Hollywood playbook of filing immediate defamation lawsuits and issuing aggressive public relations denials is no longer effective in an era where the public has direct access to leaked federal files and congressional testimonies. Instead, the document advises that the only way to survive a shifting cultural landscape where elite protection networks are crumbling is to immediately sacrifice lower-level associates, settle outstanding civil disputes at any cost, and rapidly move liquid capital into offshore trusts beyond the jurisdiction of federal investigators. When the public read these leaked strategies alongside Ray J's confident public declarations about working with federal agents, the internet absolutely exploded with speculation. People are now analyzing the family's recent real estate transactions, noticing that multiple high-value properties in the Southern California area have been quietly listed for sale or transferred to anonymous limited liability companies registered in corporate tax havens like Delaware and the Cayman Islands. To make matters even more chaotic, the shadow of the ongoing federal scrutiny into other high-profile entertainment figures continues to loom large over this entire drama. When Ray J explicitly used the phrase worse than Diddy during his infamous live stream, he wasn't just using hyperbole for clicks. He was tapping into a deep systemic fear that is currently paralyzing the entire Hollywood establishment. Anonymous industry insiders claim that the federal investigations of 2025 and 2026 have created a domino effect throughout the entertainment industry, where individuals who previously felt completely untouchable are suddenly turning on each other to secure immunity from prosecution. The public is starting to realize that the elaborate web of non-disclosure agreements, secret settlements, and media manipulation that kept these elite circles safe for decades is completely dissolving. Every single day, a new public record, a new court filing, or a new unverified leak drops on the internet, and with every single piece of data, Kanye West's historical rants look less like the frantic ravings of an unstable artist and more like the precise, calculated warnings of a man who knew the entire system was rigged from the start. The conversation has completely shifted from whether these elite networks existed to who exactly was swimming in them, who benefited from the absolute secrecy, and who is currently scrambling to burn the evidence before the federal hammer drops. The public is no longer satisfied with the standard celebrity apology tours or carefully worded press releases from public relations teams. They want real answers, they want the full unredacted files, and they want to know exactly what was worth $6 million of absolute silence. As the cultural tension reaches a boiling point, the legal chessboard is being completely reset, setting the stage for an unprecedented wave of institutional fallout that threatens to completely dismantle the very foundations of modern celebrity culture as we know it, moving us directly into the ultimate consequences of this high-stakes exposure. The ultimate fallout and systemic consequences of this cultural collision are now rippling through the highest echelons of corporate finance, international entertainment networks, and federal regulatory bodies, threatening to trigger a complete institutional crisis. We are no longer talking about standard tabloid fodder or internet speculation. The conversation has shifted toward a massive, unprecedented wave of hypothetical legal actions, institutional probes, and financial panic that could completely rewrite the rules of modern celebrity asset management. According to highly placed legal experts specializing in corporate fraud and white-collar crime, if any federal agency were to actively pick up the thread of Ray J's public declarations and initiate a formal inquiry under the Racketeer Influenced and Corrupt Organizations Act, the financial ramifications for the entire Kardashian-Jenner enterprise would be immediate and catastrophic. Under standard federal RICO protocols, the government possesses the unique legal authority to freeze any asset, bank account, or corporate entity suspected of being utilized as part of a continuous criminal enterprise, even before a formal indictment or trial begins. This means that a multi-billion-dollar entity like Schemes, which relies on a complex network of international supply chains, short-term liquidity agreements, and sensitive private equity investments, could see its global operations completely paralyzed overnight by a single federal asset freeze order. The mere threat of this level of institutional intervention has allegedly sent shockwaves through Wall Street, with anonymous venture capitalists and institutional lenders reportedly holding emergency closed-door meetings to assess their exposure to the family's vast commercial portfolio. The tension has intensified to such a degree that industry insiders are openly discussing the distinct possibility of massive, unannounced resignations within the executive boards of several high-profile retail conglomerates affiliated with the family. Corporate compliance officers are reportedly auditing every single endorsement deal, joint venture, and licensing agreement signed by Kim Kardashian, Kris Jenner, and Kylie Jenner over the past decade to ensure that the corporations are fully insulated from any potential fallout or criminal investigations. Hypothetical scenarios are being mapped out by top-tier crisis management firms where major international beauty and fashion networks are forced to completely sever ties with the family to protect their own shareholder value and avoid catastrophic drops in stock prices. The public is already visualizing a massive financial domino effect, where a decline in brand equity leads to the immediate cancellation of reality television broadcasting contracts, the dissolution of global distribution agreements, and the sudden withdrawal of institutional funding from the family's future business ventures. This level of corporate panic is completely unprecedented in the history of pop culture, proving that the barrier of protection that once shielded the Hollywood elite from economic consequences is rapidly disintegrating under the relentless pressure of public scrutiny. Simultaneously, the political pressure mounting on federal law enforcement agencies to maintain absolute transparency has reached a historic peak. Following the high-profile congressional hearings and the public demands made by members of the House Oversight Committee regarding the comprehensive release of the unredacted Epstein files, federal agencies are operating under a literal microscope. The public is fiercely demanding that the Department of Justice demonstrate complete impartiality, ensuring that no individual, regardless of their cultural status, wealth, or proximity to political power players, receives any form of institutional protection or immunity from investigation. This immense public pressure has effectively backed regulatory bodies into a corner, making it politically impossible for them to overlook or dismiss highly publicized claims of racketeering or organized cover-ups within the entertainment sector. Legal analysts suggest that the ongoing scrutiny is forcing a massive, industry-wide cleanup, where federal prosecutors are increasingly incentivized to pursue high-profile corporate targets to restore public trust in the judicial system. The weaponization of confidentiality agreements and multimillion-dollar hush money payouts is no longer being viewed by the courts as standard corporate practice. Instead, it is increasingly being scrutinized as a potential mechanism for obstructing justice and concealing systemic patterns of exploitation. As this wave of institutional panic continues to surge, the public backlash on global digital platforms has evolved into a sophisticated, decentralized investigation that the traditional public relations machine is entirely powerless to stop. The standard media strategy of shifting public attention by generating artificial relationship drama or announcing new product launches is completely failing to register with an audience that is deeply invested in uncovering the truth behind the curtain. Online commentary has achieved a level of intense, analytical focus where every single public appearance, old interview transcript, and cryptic social media post from Kanye West is being decoded like a historical text. The public is no longer viewing Kanye as a chaotic, unpredictable artist who randomly disrupted the status quo. Instead, a massive cultural consensus is forming that views him as an institutional whistleblower who chose to sacrifice his own immense commercial success to expose the absolute decay of the Hollywood establishment. People are actively going back to his 2025 documentary, analyzing his direct, unedited confrontations with industry executives, and demanding that the corporate platforms that previously deplatformed him issue formal retractions and allow his unrestricted perspective back into the global cultural discourse. The psychological weight of this collective awakening is completely altering the landscape of modern media consumption, forcing a total rejection of the manufactured, highly manicured celebrity lifestyles that dominated the past 2 decades. Audiences are no longer interested in watching billionaires display their private jets or luxury mansions, when they suspect that the very foundations of that wealth are tied to deep networks of secrecy, access, and institutional silence. The demand for raw, unfiltered authenticity has reached a point of absolute non-negotiable necessity, with independent investigative journalism completely eclipsing mainstream entertainment news in viewership and cultural impact. The public is realizing that the ultimate consequence of this exposure is not just the potential downfall of a single famous family, but the absolute dismantling of the entire architecture of celebrity protection that allowed powerful networks to operate above the law for generations. Every single legal document unsealed by the courts, every single file released by congressional order, and every single explosive counterclaim filed by individuals like Ray J serves as a powerful reminder that the era of absolute immunity for the Hollywood elite is officially coming to a dramatic, unavoidable end. If the people closest to these multi-billion-dollar networks spent millions of dollars keeping certain individuals quiet, what exactly were they afraid those people would say? That is the haunting, definitive question that remains hanging over the entire entertainment industry as the legal chessboard is completely reset and the final pieces begin to fall into place. We are sitting on the absolute edge of a massive historical shift, where the truths that were hidden in the shadows for over 20 years are finally breaking through the surface with unstoppable force. The public is standing completely unified in its demand for absolute clarity, total institutional accountability, and the complete exposure of every single dark network that sought to manipulate global culture from behind closed doors. The conversation is no longer about simple rumors or temporary controversy. It is about a total, permanent transformation of our cultural reality. Let me know exactly what you think about this explosive development in the comments below. Do you genuinely believe that Kanye West was Hamesha Esi Sachbul Rahi and the entire Hollywood machine was systematically working to keep him quiet? Or do you think this is all just a highly chaotic, interlocking web of legal maneuvers and internet storytelling? Drop your thoughts, theories, and analytical breakdowns below. Make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel right now so you never miss a single second of these deep dive investigative updates as we continue to track the absolute collapse of the Hollywood illusion. And that is exactly where the curtain falls on the absolute illusion of Hollywood royalty, leaving us standing on the precipice of a completely new era of cultural truth. When you strip away the multi-billion-dollar corporate valuations, the highly polished reality television editing, and the relentless public relations distraction campaigns, you are left with a series of cold, hard legal realities that can no longer be ignored by the public. We are witnessing the systematic cracking of an elite architecture that spent over 20 years operating completely above the law, using armies of international lawyers and millions of dollars in cold hard cash to buy total unshakable silence. So, I have to leave you with the ultimate defining question today. Do you genuinely believe that Kanye West was Hamesha Esi Sachbul Rahi and the entire Hollywood machine was systematically working to silence his pattern recognition? Or do you think this entire interlocking web of RICO claims, secret $6 million settlements, and leaked Epstein files is just a highly chaotic series of coincidences? Drop your absolute wildest theories, detailed timelines, and analytical thoughts in the comments section below because the internet is actively decoding this real-time collapse, and your perspective matters. If you want to stay completely ahead of the curve as the rest of these highly classified court files continue to see daylight, make sure to smash that like button, share this video with everyone you know, and hit that subscribe button right now so you never miss a single second of our deep dive investigative commentary. Until next time, fam, keep your eyes wide open and keep it real.